Hey, what it do? What the business is?
It is another week in the books with the On Deck TV podcast. Show. I am Spike Lou.
Man, holla at your boy Animal Brown, Animal_Brown if you're looking for me on socials.
Absolutely, man. I am Spike Lou on them same social streets, right back on your head tops, man. How you feeling out there, AB, man? We in the dog days of summer.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling good, feeling great. Shout out to the 4th of July. I do not pop fireworks. Shout out to those who do.
Ever in life, you haven't?
Nah, hell no. I don't fuck with fireworks.
Shut up.
Nah, I ain't fucking with that. They too unpredictable, man. I don't like it.
You not being able to ride a bike or pop fireworks, boy, you had some miserable 4th of Julys.
That's a fact. And I can't barbecue either. I've never tried.
Oh, my God, son.
I can eat that shit, though.
Are you even American? Are you even an American? Are you even an American at this point? No, man. Shout out to the 4th, though, man. People are always getting a back and forths I see sometimes about celebrating this holiday, man. It's a day off work for people, man. It's a day to chill, a day to eat, be with the family in the summertime. So I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, call it whatever you want to.
Yeah, call it whatever you like, man. But back to, like we said, dog days of summer, man. We back in our influential album series. We ain't want to leave you hanging on that. We did the South. Now we're going to do the West, and we'll give you the East Coast at some point before the summer is over with. And Chris Brown talks about ghostwriting versus hip-hop and R&B, what he thinks about that. Killer Mike dropped a brand new single, and Cardi had a problem with her listing on that Rolling Stone article that you and I talked about here, AB. But first, if you've been anywhere near social media, you saw Michael Rubin, hip-hop friend, billionaire, philanthropist, former owner of the Philadelphia 76ers. He had a white party in the Hamptons, man, and the viral clips were floating around. And to my surprise, Champagne Papi had the mic, and he was going in, and Lil Uzi Vert, and all of these other people. My question to you, AB, quick question, just want to know, are you performing at the Kickback if you had rap skills?
Yeah, first of all, if I'm in Michael Rubin's Rolodex, if I got billionaires in my Rolodex and I'm in theirs, and I get invited to their all-white party, all-black party, all-orange party at their multi-million-dollar crib in the Hamptons, if they want me to kick a few flows, my new album is out. My new dance album is ready to change the game. It's already influenced the likes of Beyonce and others.
The likes of Beyonce is nuts. Stop.
And somebody wants me, my billionaire homeboy wants me to kick a song or two off the new joint. I can do that. That's no problem. Because listen, you got friends in high places. Until I'm in billionaire status, then I'll go ahead and kick it with the billionaire and do that, because I'm sure they got business shit brewing. Lil Baby was there. He put Lil Baby on the Fanatics /
he did.
Mitchell and Ness deal. Same with Meek Mill. We know what he's done for Meek Mill. So
with Meek Mill, not for.
I mean, listen, Meek Mill was locked up, dude. Like, listen, anything past that nigga was in a goddamn 3x3, dude. So anything past that, he's helped him with. He's put him up on a lot of game. And so to answer your question, if I'm Drake or any of those other artists not named Jay-Z that's already at $1 billion, or Puff who's already at $1 billion, then I can do a song or two. I'm not doing no full concert, but yeah, I grab the mic, karaoke, kick my new shit.
Well, I could understand that. You know, that's probably what rappers sign up for, and probably why I don't get it. That thing that you were like, well, I want to be the center of attention in the room. So I guess that's one part of it that I don't get. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong to do it. I don't get it. I don't get it in the sense of, I'm Drake and I'm coming to the party to be fly, and yeah, Michael Rubin's my boy, I'm not touching the microphone. These niggas was passing the mic around like a blunt. Everybody was hopping on, giving their verses for their songs. Like, bro, that's what the DJ is for. I'm here to kick it just like you niggas. I'm not putting in any work, especially if I'm a nigga like Drake. Like, I'm just not doing that. I'm not getting sweaty. I'm not doing the whole, like, no. No, bro. We cool and everything, but I just don't have it in me to perform at the Kickback. We're all supposed to be peers here. It ain't a thing where, and that's why I tried to correct you on the did for Meek Mill. I feel like they should be looking at Michael Rubin, whether it's warranted or not, as a peer. They don't have as much money, but their impact on culture, and they offer something to that relationship as well. They make him cool, in a sense. Like around all his rest of his billionaire friends, you know, Baby, and you can call Drake and Meek Mill. That's cool. But I'm not coming to perform at your party, bro. Just like Hov didn't perform. And I get what you're saying. He's probably on a higher level than those. Hov should have been tapping niggas on the shoulder like, bro. Like, nah, cut that out. Y'all need to give him the microphone back. He ain't got no host for this party. Billionaire ass nigga come forward, no entertainment. Like, no, bro, I'm not here performing. And again, I'm not saying I'm right in this. This is just how I look at it in the same sense of when we talk about rappers going up to the label and performing. Bro, you've heard my songs. I don't have to perform in a room full of 30 white people because you think it's cool. Because it would have been a nice story for you to go tell your husband that you did this today at work. Nah, I'm good. And I'm not saying that that's the way that Michael Rubin looked at it. I totally get the other aspect of it because I'm not a rapper. I don't get that wanting the attention part of it. But from even a fan standpoint, I wouldn't do that. I'm not doing it.
Man, you act like Drake did a whole set. I seen a clip.
I'm not doing a bar, nigga.
I seen the same clip.
That's what the music is for, nigga. That's what I recorded it for. For you to put it on here, I can get hype over here in the section and do my little poppy dance or whatever. But I'm not touching, bro. I get paid to do this. I get paid a lot of money to do this. This nigga had A-listers here.
Yeah. Nigga,
like if BET had called them last week and been like, hey, Drake, come through and do a set for us. What? That nigga would have laughed them off their goddamn phone, dude. And BET should be a bigger entity in hip-hop than Michael Rubin is. I know I talked about that in the group chat and wanted to bring it in here. It just seems like last week, and BET did a great job at the show, but I didn't see these A-list people at the BET Awards performing off the strength. Well, and that's a bigger thing for the brand of hip-hop than performing at Michael Rubin's party. That's for you. That's for the artist specifically.
I couldn't tell the last time I saw – I don't know the last time I saw Drake perform at an award show. But
you giving Michael Rubin this exclusive? Like what?
He did one song, dude. He did one song.
Bro, that's one song too. That's 16 bars too many. That's too much, man. Like no, bro. Like if it's and too like it looked weird to me. The aesthetics of it look weird, especially after I found out LeBron had the white party too.
On a whole other coast though. He was on the West Coast.
Okay. Y'all niggas is like
you gonna clone? You gonna be two places at once?
Like Boosie said, man, y'all niggas ain't gonna support me. I bet Boosie would have pulled up the Bron part.
Boosie didn't get an invite to neither one of them, actually.
Yeah, but Boosie was talking about this. Niggas don't come to his shit on the same night. Bron go through the same thing. Boosie, don't feel bad, bro. Don't feel bad.
Hey man, moving on, man. Chris Brown, your man, just dropped a new album. He is on his promo run. He was on Drink Champs, and he said that ghostwriting in R&B is different than ghostwriting in hip hop. He's saying in R&B it's okay. Why? Because you can write all you want to. You're not gonna sound like Chris Brown when it comes out, when the vocals come out. That's you not gonna do. Then he said when it comes to hip hop, people look at that as more of your story and being authentic. And if this is not coming from you, then it doesn't hit quite the same. Do you agree with that sentiment?
He has some truth there. I don't think that he's giving enough credit to the talent of rappers, though. One of the quotes in there he said was like, yeah, you could be a writer and write that motherfucker, but you ain't going to sound like Chris Brown if you sang that motherfucker, which is a great point.
Facts.
Because Chris Brown got skills, and at the same time, you could do that for Kanye West. Like, Sci-Hi, you might sound great saying it, but you don't sound like Kanye. Mm-hmm. Like Gilly, you may sound amazing with this pen stuff that you wrote, but it don't come out like Wayne has it come out. And I'm only speaking to the allegation of those guys, but I think we've gotten to a point in hip-hop where ghostwriting is okay. It's not about a top 5 MCs anymore. It's about the bigger acts. And what we were just even talking about with Michael Rubin's party. And like, are you there with the in crowd? Do people know your name? And that doesn't necessarily consist of bars anymore. Niggas that can rap you under the table no more, they wasn't at Michael Rubin's party performing with the mic. And yep. I'm sure that's what niggas is trying to get to, apparently, versus anything else is doing the 16 at Michael Rubin's white party. But with that being said, it's not as important as it was in the generation that Chris Brown experienced, that you and I experienced. Who's the best MCs, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas, We went through those phases. That's a chapter in the history book of hip hop now. It's not necessarily current, and it doesn't look like it's going to be that way in the future either when we're talking about the top lyricists of the game having to stick by what they wrote and being the top artist in the game. It just isn't that way.
Yeah. And I think a major reason for this is that R&B is older than hip hop. Hip hop is still relatively new. So people are still grasping on to those old school ways of thinking, like you have to be who you say you are on these songs. They can't separate the two. That's Meanwhile, rhythm and blues has been around a very long time. Nobody cares about if you're writing it anymore. Maybe at one point in time, maybe. Now, bro, nobody cares, bro. Like they don't, like, it doesn't matter. And I think soon in time, you will hear the same thing about hip hop. Dude, we heard Quentin Miller's reference track, bro. It didn't sound nothing like Drake shit. When Drake said he rolling through the six with his woes, it slapped. When Quentin Miller said it, dude, it was like, okay.
Like, what is a woe? What are you talking about, bro?
Yo, like, okay. But like, I think we'll get to a point where people won't take hip hop so personally. And you're seeing this with hip hop on trial with lyrics. Like hip hop still gets looked at like, yo, what you're saying on record is literally what you did last night, whether it be whatever it be. 50 Cent talk about in the club, ball of bub, and he's never drunk, and he told you he doesn't drink. Lil Jon doesn't party and kick it like that, bro. He made all party and kick it music only for the nigga to really be like a marketing genius on Celebrity Apprentice when we seen him, dude. So like, there will be a point where people will be able to separate the two and just take either A, good storytellers, or B, people that know how to make fun party music, and you don't always have to associate with the music. That's why people can do it. That's why Usher can do Confessions and nobody be mad that he not talking about himself, dude. Like, you ain't got no baby on the side. What? That ain't you?
It slapped harder when they thought it was talking about him, though. No,
it did. Now, listen, when something is based on a true story, yeah, it always hits just a little bit harder.
So let me ask you then, are we explaining, somebody said this, like talking about that Drake album, The Death of Hip Hop. Is what you are explaining now and us getting to that point as hip hop grows, the death of what we know it as?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because people haven't been writing their own shit in R&B for a long time.
Well, even in that sense, you're right. But in the sense of, take a look at Young Thug, or take a look at the scrutiny that the drill scene in New York is getting. Yep. Like Joe Budden was headlined and saying that in 4 or 5 years, New York drill rap will be over.
Probably.
Young Thug is sitting in jail, allegedly behind stuff that's in his lyrics. So we're talking about how real you keep it, and what Chris Brown is saying, well, people got to do what they live in their raps. That's gotten people to a point now where they're facing life in jail behind that.
Exactly.
Like those are the most scrutinized acts in hip hop now. The Florida guys that did the Tampa shit, the drill guys, Young Thug, the ones that are living their life, they getting caught now.
That's my point. I was just watching Math Hoffa.
Yeah,
was on Vlad, and they were talking about the lyrics being used in court. And they would say, like, yo, if you're committing crimes, please don't put them in your songs.
But ain't that what hip hop is, though? Like, people have come to the understanding that that's what hip hop is. It's a representation of the streets. So if you don't have people that are able to realistically report, in a sense, it is like dying.
Reporting is one thing.
Right.
Telling on yourself is another.
You know the best reporters, though, it be those shows that they go to the places and you be like, damn, I can't believe she was right there with the drug smugglers and the Michael K. William black market scammer, where they talking to the scammer. It ain't necessarily, oh, I was out in the field and this is what the scammer told me. You want to see that shit.
Yeah, for sure. But
I think that's an interesting conversation to continue to hash out as we do the short mode. But like, there is some merit to the people from other generations saying that hip hop is dying, because people aren't going to be able to speak their truths that Chris Brown is talking about. And that used to be what made you a hip hop artist. And
so it'll be different now in the future. People won't care as much. They just want to know what sound good.
Adaptation.
Nobody cares, bro. Like if it really wasn't Ice Cube that was a boy in the hood, but he had the pen to make it sound like he was, then nobody's gonna care, dude. Is that shit hitting or not? Like, too many niggas that can't rap but actually are living that life have infiltrated the game. And so it makes people think that you have to be that. I would rather hear somebody that is actually talented and not fresh out the trap, but really can't. They just look at it as a hustle. And they really can't make music. They just kind of like tripped into like a little banger. And that's really it. And there's a million of them niggas. Like you could argue that's killing hip hop more than this other shit we talking about.
Yeah. If those niggas, the niggas that you just described, if they got a good story, I'm there for it. Like
not if they can't tell
it. Halfway talented, good story, because you can grow into being a good rapper.
That's possible.
Everybody don't got a good story.
That's possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good conversation. Speaking of good conversations and bangers, our guy Killer Mike just dropped a brand new single after 10 years on the shelf. Solo single. He been doing this Run the Jewels thing, but this is the first thing. Dolo has a Young Thug feature on there. It's called Run. Real simple question, Animal Brown. Are you here for the new Killer Mike single?
Nah.
Whoa.
Nah. And I fuck with Killer Mike heavy. I thought the song was mid. Killer Mike is one of those artists that I'm a bigger fan of their personality and what they stand for outside of the booth than I am their solo music. Run the Jewels is okay, but I've never really been a fan of Killer Mike's solo music at all. I just never got into it. I believe he can rap. I just don't like the solo projects. And to be fair, I've never really given some of his stuff a real chance, though. Like, I'm sure somebody is screaming at the phone right now about some of his solo, like the rap music solo and stuff like that. I never really got into him like that on the solo tip. But from what I did listen to, I wasn't really feeling it like that. And again, to me, he's a better lyricist than he is a songwriter. And it shows when he puts out his solo music. So I wasn't really feeling the song. The video was kind of dope. And I'd rather watch a show or hear an interview than a song from Killer Mike at this point.
Or take 2 minutes to tell me that you hate Young Thug without saying I hate Young Thug. You could have just did that. Just say I hate Young Thug.
I forgot he was on the song.
Sure you did. That's probably the reason why you didn't like it and cut it off. I'm here for it. I like Killer Mike stepping back into this lane. The rock rap that he does with Run the Jewels is cool for a certain crowd. It's cool from a lyrical standpoint, like you said, it's sharpening the sword. But I do think that being in this lane offers Killer Mike the room for more perspective on the culture, without always being talking, without always being on CNN or a television show. I like the fact that he can come back to this lane, still spit shit that's relevant to the brand of Killer Mike. And for me, I can totally get what you're saying, because I'm not a big fan of his music either, but this song I like. I like the Young Thug aspect and the whole run. I like it. I didn't get to check the video out yet, but again, what I am most impressed by is how he's even Wayne getting back in this lane after being as successful with Run the Jewels, after doing everything else politically on TV, having that voice, still stepping back into this hip-hop lane after 10 years. And it sounded fairly, this is what I remember. It's better than what I remember, actually. I'll say that. It ain't necessarily nothing that I saved to my playlist, but I liked it better than the rap music stuff.
Killer Mike, I put him in the same lane as like a David Banner. Like I'd rather, like if a new interview popped up with one of them niggas, I'm pressing play immediately.
Yesterday.
Yeah, like immediately. And let me be clear though, I actually liked David Banner when he first came out, them first 2 or 3, but I'm referring to like God Box and the more recent stuff. I'm cool on that. But today,
he was saying that was the best album ever made, wasn't he?
Man, listen.
God Box. The
funniest shit when we was in Revolt and you seen David Banner and you went to go dap him up and he asked you, were you checking for that God Box? He said, man, I'm going to keep it real with you, bro. I don't rock with your music like that. I'm more a fan of your personality. That shit was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
I had to keep it real with him. I ain't want the nigga to think I be banging that shit, man.
And he wasn't mad at it, though. He just told you to check for. He said double back.
He wasn't mad, but that nigga grabbed me extra tight on the pull-in for the
tough.
He was trying to he was mad aggressive.
Because y'all was finna
aggressive. He really didn't like it, but he was like, he was on his Zen shit and trying to, let me hug this nigga out. I definitely felt that pause.
The hand grip was definitely
out of my hand, nigga. Relax, nigga. But I fuck with David Banner heavy though, man. I'm a big fan. That was a dope experience right there.
Is there anybody who else like you can argue Vince Staples up until like these last?
These last two albums.
Yeah, the last two should have been fire, but up until then, you could argue he was more talented in other areas.
Facts.
And he couldn't quite get the songs like how they needed to be up until these last two, though.
Right, like they are now. But I am excited about it seems like since he's hit his stride, though, speaking of Vince Staples, because we took this off the rundown so we can speak to it real quick, he's going to be doing a remake of The Wood on Showtime, and he's going to be in White Man Can't Jump. So it seems like even as he's gotten that, okay, now it's clicking for the music, I'm out of here.
But that's good, though. I'm here for because he can do it. He's a person that can do both.
He said,
and I like both of them roles. I like both of them movies for him.
He said that people have been recommending to him go do the Will Smith LL Cool J thing.
Relax.
These are his words. He said this. He said, "I'm gonna go Will Smith LL Cool J on these."
We're not gonna do Will Smith any kind of.
These are Vince Staples' words. This is not Spike Lee saying this. I'm telling you. He said this, not me. Boy.
He took it a step too far, dude. Yeah, relax.
He's super excited about that. He's super.
You said you said he doing White Man Can't Jump, and what else?
A remake of The Wood. There's a pilot that they're shooting for that.
The Wood, a classic too, man. I don't know.
He got to be playing Slim, right?
Yeah.
Pearl. That would have to be him.
This is a show though.
Yeah, it's a series of The Wood.
Oh, that's kind of hard, dude. That's cool.
Nigga,
that's cool. Okay.
Absolutely. They should have
that's cool.
10 years ago.
I'll fuck with that. I thought they're gonna redo the movie. I'll be like, man, chill out.
Nah, yeah, you can leave that alone. But I'm here for the show. I want to see what that's like.
For sure.
100%. Before we get to our most influential album series, West Coast version this time, your girl Cardi B was speaking facts about the Rolling Stone list ranking that we discussed a couple weeks ago on the On Deck TV show. She says, "You guys use me. You only put me at this number so people would come for my head on a random beautiful Tuesday." And Animal Brown, I think she's speaking facts. What say you? A setup, or should she just be good with the ranking?
I think she should be flattered by the ranking. I think, unfortunately, it's a necessary evil that people are going to comment on this list, and they know that she didn't make the fucking list. Like, she's not the editor at Rolling Stone. People know this.
Well, get out of my mentions like you don't know that, then. It's what Cardi is saying.
People are stupid. And so they're going to attack the wrong person when they get emotional. For the record, her album was number 16 on the top 200 list, if you remember, ahead of a couple of Biggie's, Pac's, Kanye albums, ahead of a lot of shit that shouldn't have been ahead of, realistically. Now, that's not to say that, one, she's not uber successful. Two, the album wasn't good. Like, that's not to say any of that. But dog, we all know that's not supposed to be there. Cardi kept it a stack. She was on Angela Yee podcast. She kept it a stack. She was like, "Look, I know, like, nigga, this shit ain't better than Biggie's fucking double CD. I know that." You know what I'm saying? Service. Yeah, that's what she said. They said.
Oh man, I know. She talking big girl. I got to go listen to that.
I hope this was the only music conversation that they went with. Dude.
I got to hear that. Boy. Sheesh. Lord, I got to hear that.
But I understand what she was saying. And she was kind of lighthearted with it. Like, man, they set me up to get it roasted out here because she know it doesn't belong where it belongs. And Rolling Stone knows that. And fans know that. But they got misguided energy. They should go at Rolling Stone with that, not Cardi.
Facts. The most impressive thing about this response to me was how present Cardi B is being such a big superstar. Oftentimes we come on here and we talk about comments that she's made, and whether we agree with them or not, it still shows at how present she is in her career and what's going on. Like, her head ain't in the clouds. Like, it ain't no Lil Wayne shit where motherfuckers ask her about current events and she gives you some shit out of left field. I appreciate that about Cardi. I think that's what's going to make her stick around for a very long time, and what makes her appeal to even like people outside of her fan base. Like, everybody or the people that listen to her wouldn't necessarily be the people that she's talking to, but I can appreciate her coming out and saying this. Like, it shows that she gets it. Like, it'll have been a lot of motherfuckers that will sit there and be like, oh, yeah, man, 16. I feel like I worked hard for this album. And, that's right there where it's, nigga, shut up, nigga.
Right. That's a fact.
You would have been listening to them explain to her, and you would have been rolling your eyes at it. But with Cardi, there's always this thing that she gives you where you feel like that you can relate to her. Like, I ain't this big superstar that everybody fucks with. I feel or look at shit just like you do. And I appreciated that the most out of this response. That's what I thought she really gave from it.
Yeah, and she just dropped a new single too. Her first single in the stretch, with
Kanye West and Lil Durk.
Kanye and Durk. That song was mid. I'm gonna be real.
Super mid.
Yeah, it was. That was mid, bro.
I mean, she got Kanye on there. What you expect?
Stop.
Who goes and get Kanye West for?
Stop. I don't know why she put him on there though.
I mean, but it's Kanye. Like you said, the two biggest, if I'm Cardi's label and you like, well, how does Cardi come back out with another single? Oh, we can get Kanye West and Durk? Do it.
Damn, that ain't nothing, man. Whose idea was that?
Yeah, song ain't nothing. But that's what you get from her. This is her third single, though, right?
She's had a couple. Yeah, WAP.
She got WAP, and then she got, If It's Up, Then It's Stuck.
Yeah, and then she had the one with Bruno Mars.
So when
she just been throwing Lucy's out there. Just Lucy's.
Day of when she drop his platinum, just because those are going to be on there.
Like they petty for that too if they do that.
You're looking at like highest first day sales probably ever record because those songs are definitely going to be on her album that comes out 9 months from now.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Right. And speaking of that Rolling Stone list, man, there was only one West Coast hip hop album in the top 10.
Holy smokes.
Do you remember what it was?
Dr. Dre 2001.
Nope, close. It was Kendrick to Pimp a Butterfly. So they even got that wrong.
Rightfully so.
No. So we're talking West Coast albums, man, most influential. You know how we get down. If you're just tapping in, we did the South 2 weeks ago. Make sure you check that out after this one. We're going to go over a couple of albums that we feel are influential, most influential West Coast albums in our respective eyes. I'm sure we have some overlap. We typically do. We don't want to sit here and try to get our reach on. There's a couple on here that's going to be on here. But then we've probably got a couple that also we probably don't have any overlap on. Give me two layups. What do you kind of think of before we get into the more unique joints?
The two layups for me were, of course, Doggy Style and The Chronic.
Yeah.
That introduced me to West Coast music. During our era, the golden era of hip hop that we often refer to it as, I remember vividly Yo MTV Raps, nigga, Nothing But a G Thing, Dre Day, Doggy Style. Like the videos were a big deal. Nigga, I went and got the flannels. I had some Lokes with my name on it, nigga, that I got from the flea market trying to be like Snoop and Dre. Like it was all the way in as far as just being what we seen from the West Coast. It played off of the Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society and Colors movies that were very popular during that time period as well. So this put the soundtrack to it. It wasn't like it was now. You pull everything up on your phone and you can just get access to any album. So West Coast music before then, like it was NWA, of course.
Facts.
And you would see some stuff on Rap City, but as far as it just making a wave, this was it, hitting us in the face down south. These two.
I ain't mad at that. Obviously, I've got I put Chronic, but I left Doggy Style off just because I figured that there would be some overlap. But that, man, come on, man, they go without saying.
I remember that Nothing But a G Thing video and that Dre Day, like on the box, nigga, 24/7, just that period. Like starting my hip hop experience, like heavy, like oh, okay, this is my shit right here.
And that had the same effect for a whole lot of people. Please believe it. I'm going to go with two that I feel are layups that you probably have at least one of these. I've got, well, you've probably got these artists, but maybe different albums. I've got Kendrick, but I went Good Kid, Mad City as the album that a lot of people thought was his solo. I mean, it's his debut. Is really not. Section 80 is technically his debut, but Good Kid, Mad City kicked the door down on the bringing back storytelling in hip hop as it relates to like a full cohesive album. I feel like that was very influential. And a lot of people have kind of piggybacked off of that. I actually have another album that is a result of that came out afterward, but I'll touch on it in a second. But I feel like it was very influential in kind of bringing back the concept album. And then I have Pac, even though, yes, we know he was born in Baltimore and we get it, but I am throwing him in the West Coast music category because of the style of music that he made at a certain point. And it took me 30 minutes to figure out which Pac album I was going to do, but I decided to go with probably his best work, which is Me Against the World. When I could have went with the double album, which is probably more like definitive, making him like a pop star. But I'm going Me Against the World as his most complete from A to Z. And it's not even my favorite. My personal favorite is Machiavelli, personally. But if you were to poll the culture, you probably will get more votes for number one with Me Against the World. So I'm going with that, even though I wouldn't be mad if you picked either one of them three I named.
I had Good Kid, Mad City too. I think that album personifies, when we're talking about influence of West Coast, of that being, like I said, it felt like a whole nother world. So storytellers coming from that other world always translate, going all the way back to Spice One. I know those niggas used to have stories on their tapes, and even Snoop, like Murder Was the Case. So it's always been big, and I agree. Though To Pimp a Butterfly may be my favorite album to date,
yep.
The Good Kid, Mad City, as far as influence in West Coast, I 100% agree there. Where I would disagree with you, Ed, and I think you missed the layup here, Pac, I think, is one of the few artists that you can kind of, like, there's a East Coast phase, in my opinion, with Me Against the World. I think that falls under an East Coast phase. I think that All Eyes on Me was his West Coast album, and then Machiavelli was like a universal superstar album of bigger than sides. Yeah. But I'll put Pac's All Eyes on Me, even though I prefer, my favorite Pac album is Me Against the World. I feel like Me Against the World is a perfect album, 9.9 out of 10. But I think I don't think that that's a West Coast album. It reminds me, it always in my head, Me Against the World was what Mobb Deep tried to be. Like, that album is what, like, that's what I expected it being from down south, as like a gritty East Coast album. On the other hand, with Me Against the World, with All Eyes on Me, that's West Coast personified. That's a superstar rapper from the West Coast doing West Coast music with West Coast features, as like from a superstar standpoint now, not
right.
local like Mac Dre standpoint, but just from a big superstar standpoint. So the All Eyes on Me is where I would go versus Me Against the World.
No, I can definitely understand that. But it's we're grasping at straws.
Absolutely, you can't go wrong. You like straws, preference there.
Too many features on that double disc, though. One day we'll have a real conversation about that.
West Coast shit, man. That's West Coast shit. That's West Coast compilation shit, man. I'm putting all my niggas there. And two, the reason there's a lot of features is, like you said, we'll talk about it one day. Like, he had to, like, pay dues. I can't just come out of jail screaming West Side without paying respect and having these niggas on here. Like, these niggas got to get down, too. This shit finna be big. Yeah, everybody come to the yo. I'm in and out.
So you're saying Pac was getting extorted is what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. Shout out my guy Glasses Malone, man. I've listened to numerous podcasts and songs about it. But friend of the show, if I had to go two more that I'm 100% sure that you don't have, and if this isn't a ranking, these are just influential albums. For me, around the same time the Doggy Style and stuff was out, Too Short Cocktails.
Oh, yeah.
Head up a little bit, go up to the Bay, man. That, like, you could tell that Los Angeles and Oakland were different. It was all the West Coast to us as Southern niggas, but you could tell, listening to Too Short and what he was on, ICE 40, those niggas and what they were on versus Snoop, Dre, Easy, Cube, it was just different. Yeah. And I think that for me, the translation, and Too Short talked about some wild shit, perfect for a 12, 13, 14-year-old growing adolescent boy to hear. So that's why I gravitated to it. But 100% Cocktails, Too Short is one of them for me. And then the other one, The Game documentary.
I got that.
You got that on there?
Hell yeah.
I'll let you go.
Look, dude, that came out. The West Coast was quiet when that came out. With all due respect, Snoop was holding it down. He was still doing his thing, but That was it. It was quiet. The West Coast needed some gangster rap shit. Because Snoop had pretty much, he had linked up with Pharrell. Like, he was on some household name shit by the people. Murder Was the Case was long in the rear view. Snoop was doing commercial shit. There was no real, like, street dude, like how the game came out to be. We know what G Unit did. They tried it with G Unit, didn't really work. He was his own alpha male. But the Game documentary is a top tier debut album, and it was quiet. It's a shame he didn't make the 200 list on Rolling Stone. Throw the whole list away. He had a point there with that because that was instrumental, bro. It was quiet. West Coast was quiet. It was dead. You could argue West Coast was dead.
Yeah, album's undeniable. Like,
man,
you say, you right. It was quiet. He kicked the door back open for Kendrick, YG,
yep,
all of these niggas. Like, he Game is the nigga that did that.
Yep,
100%.
He may get on niggas' nerves now, but he did that though.
This one I had from Google. I can't say that I was on this, but I had to show some respect for Mac Dre and Thizzle Washington. The Thizzle. I have heard the Thizzle dance. Are you familiar with the Thizzle dance? Mm-hmm. So that was one that probably people that we fuck with us up on the bay, up in that corner up there, would be very disrespected if we didn't mention Mac Dre and one of his albums. And
absolutely,
that was the most popular one.
I never got into it, but I'm 1000% familiar, and people definitely fuck with him heavy. If I had to throw two, you just mentioned somebody, YG, My Crazy Life. That was modern day, authentic gangster rap. And he also included the storytelling elements in there similar to Good Kid, Mad City, which I think came directly from that, honestly. But that people looked at YG like he was fresh out of the West Coast trap, whatever it's called. Like,
he was one of them ones, absolutely.
He was one of them ones, dude. So it kind of brought back that nostalgic feeling of a Snoop, you know what I mean, or of some of the more artists that you had around that time. So I definitely had YG, My Crazy Life. He hasn't been able to come close to that since, in my opinion. I also had another one from the mid 90s, early 90s, around the time that Snoop and Dre were cooking, but this came from a less gangster but still G-funk sound, which is Warren G Regulate. I thought that debut album was fire, and it just brought another version or another sound to that West Coast sound. If you didn't want to go super gangster with Dre and Snoop, you could go smooth, chill, kick back. The girls could sing to it. You know what I'm saying? I would go Warren G Regulator or Regulate, which was the name of the album.
And the last one that that was a dope album. Go DJ and of course Regulate.
Yep.
My last one is E40 in a major way.
Yep.
Sprinkle Me, man. That was on the top 9 at 9. Local Nashville Countdown Forever. That in a major way made me buy that Charlie Hustle album. I've been a borderline E40 fan. I wouldn't say strong E40 fan. I fuck with him.
You fuck with E40. You fuck with Earl Stevens, man.
E40. I do fuck with Earl. But I ain't not new Earl, but I fuck with old Earl Stevens 100%. So that E40 in a major way 100% was one for me too.
And he was big on the independent game too.
Facts. Way back in the day.
Yeah. So you got to give E40 props. He one of the dopest entrepreneurs. Really, he really don't get enough credit. We talk about, Rick Ross got franchises and stuff now. Man, E40 been on that.
Been doing it. I'm talking about, when I say been doing it, I'm talking about the 90s. Nigga.
Tough.
Yeah.
I had one more too. I had
online when Hove was at the Golden State game and they dapped each other up.
People
like, Hove, no, we like, nigga, come on.
That's disrespectful.
Yeah, I done kidnapped Big out here in these streets, nigga. Hell yeah, Hove better know who I am, nigga. That's big about me, nigga.
Jay might have to check in with E40 back in the day.
Nigga. Come out here to the Bay bullshitting still, nigga.
Nigga, I had one more, and this is a mixtape, but fuck it. I had Dom Kennedy, the Yellow album. Influential, bro. How many people rapping with that slow, laid back? You know what I'm saying? We got Larry June now. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people off that Dom Kennedy tree. And if you had to pick an influential album, it's either the Yellow album or it's From the West Side with Love Too. Yeah. But that Yellow album had Gold Alpinas on it. That might be the tiebreaker.
Dom is another one of those ones, like when Chris Brown was saying, like, you can write that, but everybody ain't gonna sound like Dom saying that shit.
That's a fact. And I'm not even the biggest Dom. I like some of his newer shit though. I actually like the last two Doms. Actually been all right, but I wasn't really the biggest fan of his style. Although I do like some of the more recent people that have adopted that style. So, but you gotta respect the originator though.
Larry June, the reason why Dom back in his bag. Larry June,
facts,
his ass, boy.
Facts.
That boy putting out hot fire.
No Nip project.
That's what I was just about to ask you before we wrapped it up. Is it too early for Nip Victory Lap? It's gonna be there at some point. We may just not mention it now, but we can. R.I.P. to the legend, man. I still listen to Victory Lap straight through today. But so yeah, at some point it's gonna be mentioned there. We may just be jumping the gun out of admiration for him right now. Yeah, it's of course gonna be mentioned.
I mean, you could argue maybe a mixtape though.
Yeah.
At Crenshaw. Yeah. You could argue that because I almost put Tyler on here, but that may be too soon. He got 3 albums in a row that were nominated for Grammy Rap Album of the Year, and all 3 of them were banging. So like,
West Coast, like, is that what you put him under?
Yeah, he's from the West.
That's true.
So
he almost like he's almost unclassifiable, like I was speaking about with that Machiavelli shit.
That's true.
Like he almost like just everywhere with it. And that's a compliment, 100%.
Yeah, that may, when we look back, that may open up doors for people that come from the West Coast to be more
versatile.
Right.
Facts.
Last one though, MC Hammer, Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him. Don't sleep on that.
That shit was banging.
That's what I'm saying.
That's it, nigga. It's word for word, nigga. I had to.
MC Hammer was tough.
MC Hammer was that nigga. Like, people are gonna laugh or may like, y'all think Drake was big? It is big. Like, Hammer was like right there.
MC Hammer was a shit back in the day.
Hammer was like, bro, that was one of the biggest acts ever. Like, I had that tape. I remember that tape, nigga. My mama had that tape, nigga. My mama had that, boy.
Nigga, don't sleep on Hammer.
Sleep on Hammer, nigga. Run up on Hammer.
Hey, run up on Hammer with that bullshit.
All right. Run up on him. Man, before we get out of here at the On Deck TV show, man, we like to do this thing called a win or a loss. First on the docket, Slim Thug, your man, Animal Brown, he says he did not know that Lupe's song, Hip Hop Saved My Life, was about him. Win or a loss?
That's a win, because it wasn't like he just found out yesterday. I'm saying he didn't know when it initially came out. And a lot of people didn't know that. Some people listening just now learned this, dude. So I'm gonna say that's a W. I ain't mad at him.
And be like, damn, that's very interesting. And shout out to Lupe, man. Like, just a credit to his creativity and humbleness of doing it. Like, I guess Lupe was a star, but you ain't a star to be writing about another nigga career at that point, I feel like. But hey, it was dope.
That song was banging though.
That's what got me on Lupe. Like, I was on Kick Push.
Yeah, it
was alright, but that and Superstar, that whole album right there. What's the name of that album right there? That shit
the Cool.
Banging. The Cool.
That's the Cool, if I'm not mistaken.
That shit fire right there.
His first album a classic though.
Yeah, I've heard. I have to run that back at some point.
Straight through.
Win or a loss, your man Jim Jones says, when you see him out with security and you think it's funny, please understand that is for your protection and not his, to keep him from wilding out on you. Win or a loss, that Jim Jones still needs security for you?
No, that was a win because that was funny. He said, if you see me with a big ass security guard, nigga, that's to keep me off your ass. And that we know who that was to. There's somebody who can attest to that. So that shit was funny. Jim Jones is a comedian. He just had his Breakfast Club interview with Lobby Boys. That shit was funny. So that was good. That was a good joke. But Jim Jones is also too old to be acting like he can't have security. Like, we know security is a smart investment. Let's not be too cool. Let's not be too gangster. Like, let's relax.
It ain't 2000.
Yeah, it ain't relaxed, bro.
We get it. You're a tough guy, but not in 2022. It's some young niggas out there that give Jim Jones time of day. I know he buff and he gets to it. I don't want no smoke, but it is some young niggas out there that's going to try to get their nuts off for trying to box Jim Jones. But man, shout out to Jim though. Jim, one of those niggas. His aura of like being the tough guy, it's pretty much held up for damn near 20 years now. Like, that's true. Solidified it. I looked at the Breakfast Club clip. Y'all dropped it.
That was funny.
Chat. That was funny. And Mano was like very like humble, like, nah, I really don't even know what I was doing. Like every time, like I'm trying to get out of it. I'm trying to get the fuck out of Dodge. Every time I seen Jim them, that let you know how Jim was moving back then, boy.
Because Mano wasn't no slouch neither now.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. Like nigga done heard stories about Mano, and then you think about Cam when Cam was talking about the story when they got into it with BMF. And like you said, Jim just went flying up here like, hold on, bro. It's like 100 of them niggas, bro. Like just chill out real quick, bro. Let's figure out what's going on. Like, nah, nigga, we up here.
Check out the story, Mano and Jim Jones. They used to have a little beef, and Envy told a story about a time when they ran into each other. And Mano was gonna go head up with Jim Jones and about 30 niggas he was with. The story was funny.
Very funny. Another win or a loss before we get out of here. Dr. Dre says he produced, get this, 247 songs during the pandemic.
That's an L simply because we're not going to hear 7 of them.
I was going to say, nigga, and
that's what.
For all we know, that's Detox 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, you may as well, it may as well be the Pootie Tang song, dude. Like, we'll never hear that shit. It ain't like we'll never, like, you just talking, Dr. Dre.
Yeah,
that's give that an L as well.
He probably deleted all of them already, bro.
Right. Nigga, perfectionist. Nigga just sitting there, got goddamn 9.9 out of 10 song. It's just missing one thing. I can't figure it out. That post-mortem, like, Dr. Dre release, that's going to be fucking crazy.
Nah, that's a fact.
Jeez. One more came across the wire before we get out of here. Breaking news for a bonus win or a loss. Your man Kanye West corrected some online source about his $1 million show price. He says it's $8 million. Is that a win or a loss?
That's a win, because now if you see Kanye doing the show, this is what you do when you get to a certain status.
Okay.
You price yourself to where you only have to move maybe a handful of times a year, as opposed to having yourself at 1 million. There's a whole lot more people that can afford you at 1 million. Now you got to do more work. No, I'm going to take these 3 shows for 8 as opposed to these 24 shows for 1. So that's definitely smart.
And I'm Kanye West. I'm not even going to hold you. My show probably cost 6.
Just to put together.
Yeah, I'm spending 6 for a motherfucker to have the Kanye West experience. So I don't even know what to tell a nigga coming to me with $1 million. Like, you can't even get the production of a Kanye West show. So I get this. Like, this is one of those things where it ain't cap, ain't one of those Forbes $1 billion. Like, it. If you've ever been to a Kanye West show, you know, $8 million to get him booked probably is a bargain, actually.
Yeah, because he gonna put 6 into it.
You gonna remember that show.
Yeah,
100%. Facts.
That's a fact, man. On Decker of the Week, we're going to Instagram. Shout out to just.goat. He sent us a DM for a topic. He said, lay up episode topic, top 5 to 10 city anthems. I said, ooh, that's pretty dope. There's a lot of, you have to think about some that are non-New York. You know, we got New York city anthems because that's all they do is talk about New York. But then you got to think a little bit. There's a couple of other city anthems that you can think about. There's some Atlanta shit. There's some other shit. We got to ponder on it. But that's a pretty good topic, man. Appreciate the suggestion. Just.go. We may pull one of those out here in the next couple of weeks. You never know. Stay tapped in.
Yeah, that's dope. I like that. That's going to be a one to think through. But yeah, I definitely like that. That's dope.
That's a fact, man. What you got to put me on?
Good put-ons this week for me, man. 2 shows that I came across, man. I'm a big fan of cooking shows. Had a Next Level Chef I put you on not too long ago. One is called The Tournament of Champions. It's on Food Network. Found myself I randomly watching it, scrolling through yesterday on 4th of July, just chilling, and watched 8 episodes the whole season before I looked up. So it's called Tournament of Champions, one of those cooking shows. It's fire. But also in the vein of cooking that's more for people that don't like that, it's a regular series show, The Bear on FX or Hulu. It's about a dude who starts a restaurant. I ain't going to tell you how he gets the restaurant, but it is fire. Best shit I've seen on TV this year. Easily my show of the year already, I can call it. The Bear, FX.
I feel like you said that last week.
No, not The Bear. Last week I talked about
The Bear.
It was another show, but it wasn't The Bear, though.
I'm going to check it out, though. I'm hearing good shit about it. If I had to do a put on, I'm gonna do a movie. I'm a little bit of an older movie. It came out a couple of years ago, but I was talking to my mans on some business shit, and he hadn't seen this, and it made me think of this. And I told him to go see it, and then it made me want to go rewatch it. The Founder, the story about McDonald's, is complete flames, especially if you're into business. There's a lot of business gems to be learned in that movie. It is available on Tubi, on the Tubi app. If you want to check it out. Who?
Nobody has Tubi.
It's a free app though, so
no way.
Tough. Tubi free as fuck.
Yeah, I saw it on Netflix. It was dope.
That's a good ass movie.
Roy
dude.
McDonald, ain't that his name? Ray.
Man, Ray Kroc.
Ray Kroc. Yeah, he was a beast.
Ray Kroc was a savage, nigga.
It's a show that comes on the History Channel called Food That Built America, where they was talking about him. They got some extensions of what happened after that too. If you haven't seen it, it's dope.
It's a wild story, dude, and I didn't know the story of McDonald's. If you knew it, congratulations. But if you don't know it, it's worth checking out.
Thanks. Fire.
Yeah, man, we appreciate everybody tapping in as always. Let us know in the comments, what's your influential West Coast albums? We know we done left something out. Somebody from Cali is really threatened to like unsubscribe and everything because we left something out. We apologize in advance. But let us know what we missed in the comments. YouTube.com/OnDeckTV and Instagram @OnDeckTV Show.
Absolutely. We are out.
Yes, sir.